So chronologically and narratively we should start with this one, right? I mean, I grew up with this. And discussions about pizza that thankfully never materialized in-game as anything more than a throwaway line of unspoken dialogue, and I'll readily admit the tits kinda look dated by now, but the core of the gameplay is nonetheless solid. And the drama somehow was conveyed in a much more concise way without needing the addition of what feels like 98 spin-offs to over-explain every little detail as if they mattered. If people don't care how Han Solo got his name, nobody cares about off. You stay pending research into Age of Consent. I'm sorry, but a little context is necessary not only because the DLC basically lasts the length of time it takes for me to climax during copulation, but also because it's part of the Final Fantasy VII media enterprise that all of you should have seen coming as soon as this obviously obvious tech demo was first wheeled out to the masses that became an overt attempt to bait nostalgia dollars from idiots.
Should have asked for more money.
I mean, I don't blame you. I fell for it. For the updated tits and admittedly still stellar modernized art direction, vividly realizing all the details that only once existed in the barren imaginations of childhood, but then as if the whims of some boozed up Japanese producer somewhere couldn't just leave well enough alone, there had to be the additions of time turds and whatever the f this was, rendering what was once a promising remake into one of those Hollywood adaptations of another medium's classic that inevitably bombs with every audience because Master Chief showed his cheeks, and everybody starts blaming everybody else until somebody gets thrown off very tall scaffolding. Meanwhile, all we really wanted to do was to faithfully wake up to nagging, flirtatious religious women, and then be free to pilfer her personal belongings while being openly misogynistic at the level of an awkward grade schooler who's been held back a few years. Anyways, Yuffie. She's dead, the game's over. Actually, no, I'm just kidding. Falling from great heights never kill anime characters mugging for the camera, as if the whole thing was a filmed commercial for a failing Japanese video games company.
We got this!
Who the f are you talking to? Survives fall from great heights effortlessly, can't jump across small gaps without the aid of context-sensitive button prompts. The dissonance between turn-based and real-time continues with this idiot in this idiot series.
Anybody home? Gotcha!
I mean, you'd think she could just Mario hop over everything. While she's slowly climbing down this ladder, I wanted to make clear that I'm absolutely doing this because FF7 Rebirth is finally coming out for the PC this week, and by all accounts, this is the last piece of narrative puzzle I need to play through in order to be fully caught up with the new old canon. And also that I most definitely do not have a problem. F you, you're the problem. What the f?
I'm talking to myself.
Kid is nuts. I like the old CRT TVs with the company spokeswoman with the big tits in them.
I figured an elite W agent could find their own way.
I may be elite, but it's not like I've ever been to Midgar. And what exactly is a W anyway? Is it true?
Anyone who lives where you just came from, think of it as a code name.
Lisa S? No, that's too obvious. Let's say L. Simpson.
Also, I do this in the subway for pity change because I'm not old enough for legal prostitution yet, unlike those two bitches. So apparently Yuffie is here to steal the master materia from Shinra, and to do so she teams up with a Scooby gang of local children by making them eat rocks, and you know what? I miss the days when all the minigames were in one big game.
Well then!
F off. And there's a really handsome boy called Sonar that Yuffie was apparently grooming or something, along with a Ubisoft tie-in of all things.
Splinter Cell.
And gratuitous cameos from people we actually give two f***s about, which just brings up the question of when did Avalanche become a worldwide terrorist franchise, because I thought a lot of its charm comes from the fact that it was strictly a domestic business operated by a local minority.
How'd you like a shot at the big time?
Yuffie really wants to be a whore.
So what do you say?
Enough that she'll straight up beat pimps to death if they don't give her the job, and no, I'm not kidding. That's the plot right alongside the aforementioned indigestible beans. This is stupid. Her spine should be in pieces. Save me, handsome boy of competence. This is stupid. This is... And then we do the Naruto run because she's a ninja, you see, and ninjas can't run using their arms. It's Japanese law or something. Wait, Yuffie? Her name is Yuffie? But there are two F's, and I've been... No, you know what? I was right back in 97, and I'm right now. It's Yuffie. Learn basic grammar. Her knees should by all rights be atomized. I don't want to alarm you, but I feel I should let you know that this entire extravagant boss fight is because I need a bus pass. But I do want to see the limit breaks, so... Oh, you f***ing game. F*** you. Let go of my hand. And then there's some weird harassment thing going on the train before we get to Shinra HQ, where nobody thinks to look twice at the only two people dressed like heavily armed anime characters wandering around the lobby.
Hold the door!
And immediately were discovered, so what the f was even the point? Oh right, I forgot to tell you the train harassment thing was actually dressed up in implied incest.
My precious.
So juicy, sweet.
Okay, again, I don't want to alarm you, but the next, hour or so left of the DLC is essentially padding in the form of combat arenas coupled with dominatrix fantasies and 80s Saturday morning cartoon references.
Teenage ninjas.
Is that materia I smell?
No, your boy toy farted. Also stupid puzzles, and fighting Gundams, and underage homages to that one scene in whatever movie that was that had this scene in it. And then you fight some Transformers. No, really, one is purple and the other is red. It's simple mathematics. Yuffie is like, holy shit, when are my breasts gonna look like that? And it goes on, and on, and on.
Where are we?
And then you fight something that looks like it was rejected from a filler episode of the Power Rangers.
But I read.
And then Sephiroth makes his contractual appearance in another guise because of course it's Sephiroth. Square struck gold with the male model dying of terminal poliosis, and boy are they not going to milk this shit until the others fall off the cash cow.
My colleagues and I are going to drop plate number 7 on this.
Yeah, I know, I played this back in 97. Why are you still padding the game? It's the last boss. So I beat off the emo loser, who then beats off my emo brother boyfriend, and I still have absolutely no idea who any of these people are because everybody talks like I should know them. Whereas I'm absolutely uncertain they were even in the original game in any capacity, so I guess at the end of the day the DLC could have begun with a cameo and ended on the teaser and lost nothing but saved us all of 2 to 3 hours of meaningless fluff that presumably will have meaning and consequence as we continue to try to find out whether this bitch dies for real or not until the explosion of the sun. Calling it now. Part 2 ends when the school bully with Marie Antoinette syndrome sticks his big sword into your religious girlfriend while praying at church. Only this time he might have a chance to salvage the relationship before he gets the whole thing in. But who cares? Because nobody has seen the end of this story before the heat death of the universe. Shame too, because the remake is actually wonderful. It's everything you could want in modern nostalgia. Sincere, with absolutely amazing art direction and sense of scale. But this is the kind of effort that can't realistically be sustained. Let's remember the original came in a plastic brick because of its huge size, and this was before Square fell down the cinematics rabbit hole and started stuffing discs with CGI mannequin anime. In 1997, a game that was essentially puppet theater of crude origami figures running on looping animated GIFs means all sort of handcrafted locations can be created so long as your artist is supplied with the industry's suggested amount of caffeine. Today, modern technology dictates one needs to accommodate every shithead trying to find the perfect angle to look up Tifa's skirt, which explains how this obvious tech demo is so padded out and yet barely enough to tell 1/6 of the actual story. Try to remake Baldur's Gate with Uncharted graphics and pathological attention to detail, and see if you don't end up with a bunch of corridors set against beautiful skyboxes, which you then take a pizza cutter to and sell off individual slices piecemeal to keep the game developers union from breaking your shins.